everyone, welcome back to another exciting video, and today I'm going to be talking about my summer TBR. I have quite a few books on this little TBR, but I usually do the blind wrap for my TBRs, so I'm gonna hope that maybe I'll pull these in the next TBR videos, and maybe with talking about some of these books, you guys will want to add these books to your summer TBR as well, and I'm sure you guys all have a lot of similar books that I have on your summer TBR list, but I just wanted to make this fun little video to talk about books that I want to try to get to this summer, and hopefully maybe you will find books that you also want to add to your summer TBR. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. And I don't know what day this is for my little Bookmas in July thing that I'm doing this summer, but thank you guys for tuning in for Bookmas in July. I've been having so much fun planning all these videos, and I'm just ready to talk about some of these books that I'm really excited to hopefully get to, but we'll see. So most of these books are romances, but we've got a couple of thrillers, we've got a couple of romantasy, but obviously I feel like summer is like peak romance season. So the first book that I want to talk about is actually a new release that just came out. Like, as I'm filming this, it came out yesterday, and that is Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. Ali Hazelwood writes so many books. I don't know how she does it, because I feel like it seems like almost every month she's like releasing a new book. I don't know, it just seems like she's coming out with so many books. I don't know how she does it, and obviously this one is peak summer read because obviously it's called Problematic Summer Romance. And this one I thought was really interesting because this will be a new for me. This is an age gap romance. Our main character Maya is 23 and Connor is 38. So this one takes place in Italy, and they go there because Maya's brother has a wedding in Italy, and somehow Maya and Connor are set to room together for a week for some reason. So we've also got a little bit of forced proximity in there, and also potentially brother's best friend trope. I'm not really entirely sure about this because it doesn't really say that Maya's brother and Connor are best friends or anything like that, but obviously I just had to add this to my summer TBR. As of right now, I have no idea what my June or July TBR is gonna be, so I hope that I pull this. I am blind wrapping a lot of these books, so some of these books you probably have already seen, hopefully, because I do want to read most of these. But yeah, that's the first one on my list, and I have heard that Deep End by her wasn't as good, so maybe this one will be a really good one. I'm not sure. It seems fun. And the next one I want to go ahead and get out of the way. I am actually in the middle of reading this book right now, and this is One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. She is the author of Every Summer After, and I read that last year, and I really liked it. It wasn't one of my favorites, but I also loved The Summer Will Be Different by her. And this one is technically the second book to Every Summer After. Every Summer After is about Persephone and Sam has a brother named Charlie, and Charlie is the MMC of this book, and he meets Alice. So Alice goes back to Barry's Bay to take care of her nan after her surgery. Charlie and Alice meet, they strike up a friendship, and they are obviously very attracted to one another, but obviously Alice is only there for the summer, and Charlie has sworn off relationships for some reason. I don't really know why. I'm slowly trying to figure that out throughout this book, but this definitely gives like the ultimate summer vibes because it takes place at a lake, and it also takes place like mid-June and July. So far it's been really fun, and I did read this at the beach a little bit. You will probably see that coming up in a vlog soon. And speaking of Carly Fortune, I also wanted to add Meet Me at the Lake by her on my summer TBR list. Obviously this cover is just giving summer. It takes place during the summer, but this one I feel like is not everyone's favorite Carly Fortune book. So this one is about Fern and Will, and they spend one summer day together, like one day, and they make a pact to meet at the same time next summer. She shows up, but he does not, and then for some reason, Fern just can't stop thinking about him. This day must have just been very super impactful to her because she can't stop thinking about him. And 9 years later, she returns to the lake and she basically finds him again, and he is very sorry about what happened and not showing up, which I thought was very interesting, because usually it's like the guy is really grumpy or he pretends not to remember the main character. So it's just kind of an interesting twist on that. But I do wonder what I'll think about this book, because again, it's not a lot of people's favorites, so we'll see how I like it. And this one, all of these books give very much summer vibes, but I feel like when there's a book with summer in the title, you obviously have to read it during summer. And this one is Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan? I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. I've heard so many good things about Nora Goes Off Script. I haven't read that one yet, but for some reason that one, I don't know if I want to read it or not. Maybe if I like this one, I'll pick up Nora Goes Off Script. But this one will be a new for me, because not only is this a new author, this also is a new trope. She is a single mom. I don't think I've read a lot of single mom trope books, but this one has a really funny meet cute. Basically, our main character, Allie, goes to the hardware store with her dog, and then her dog pees on this guy, and that's how they meet. His name is Ethan. So basically with that, I'm assuming that since she's a single mom, she's gone through a divorce, she probably has a hard time with relationships. Hopefully I really enjoy this, and then I will read more of her books. I've heard nothing but great things about it though, so I'm pretty sure I will like it. And the next book I have here, I'm not sure if it takes place during the summer, but the cover is giving like the ultimate like late spring, early summer vibe, and that is Ready or Not by Cara Bastone. This is also a new author and a new trope for me. This is accidental pregnancy. This one, like I said, is accidental pregnancy, one night stand, and potentially best friend's brother, because it says here that her best friend's brother, his name is Shep, he helps her out during her pregnancy. Eventually the baby's father kind of comes back into play. It just seems like a really cute love story, and I really wonder if I'll like this trope. I feel like a lot of people really enjoy this book though, and obviously like the cover is just it's so pretty. So I don't know, I just feel like I had to own it because of the cover, but hopefully I will like it, and if I do, I will pick up more of her books. And the next book I have on my list is actually a book I've had for such a long time. I have no idea why I haven't read it yet, and that is The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther. I believe this one is on Kindle Unlimited. If there's any books on Kindle Unlimited, I will put it somewhere on the screen. I've heard mixed things about this one. I've heard this one was boring, but then I've heard this one was really, really good. I believe this is a YA romance. But this one is following a girl named Meredith, and due to a family event that happens, Meredith has shut everyone out. And then she decides for the summer, she is determined to kind of get out of this rut. And then there is an annual family vacation and also a wedding going on. And during this family vacation, they have this traditional game of assassin. She basically forms an alliance with one of the groomsmen, and I guess she's made it her mission to win this game of assassin for one of her family members that had passed. She's trying to do all this, but then she's getting a little distracted by the groomsmen. I just feel like I had to add this to the list, and I would really love to go ahead and finally get this read. And if I really like it, I will finally read other K.L. Walther books. I have another one. I have What Happens After Midnight, also by K.L. Walther. Maybe that will get me to read that if I really like this one. And the next one I have here, you probably have seen me talk about this already, but this is The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. I've only read one book by Christina Lauren, but this one I've heard so many good things about. I've heard that the main female character is super funny. This one is a marriage of convenience trope. So they basically have to prove that they are married, especially like it's more so the guy has to prove that they're married to earn his family's estate or something like that. Yeah, but Liam won't see a penny of his $100 million inheritance until he's been happily married for 5 years. I have to show the picture in the book. It just looks really cool, and the main character has pink hair. I just think it'll be a really, really fun summer book. And the next one I'm kind of iffy about, but I kind of just want to try to get this read this summer, and that is The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Lori Gilmore. So I had a thought originally that this book took place in the fall time, but I've heard it takes place in the summer, unless I was lied to. This book takes place in the summertime. This is the Dream Harbor series. The first one is The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I didn't really love that one. I feel like these books are just really easy bingeable reads, question mark. And I say question mark because I don't know, I didn't really love the way the characters were in the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I hear that's a lot of people's favorite though, so it makes me worry how I'll feel about the rest of this series, but the covers are just so pretty that I just want to own them. But this one basically is about Hazel, a character we met in the first book, but she owns a bookstore, and basically she discovers like these little notes hidden in her bookstore, and she decides to kind of follow this trail of clues. And then there's a character named Noah, and he's always up for a challenge. So they decide to team up and kind of figure out this mystery together. And obviously with that, feelings start happening. I feel like this book will be interesting to kind of get into. It looks like it takes place during fall because of the fall, like the autumn tree. So I'm just so confused. What do you guys think of this Cinnamon Bun bookstore? Let me know down below, because I don't know, if you guys say it's good, then I will be more willing to give it a shot. But as of right now, that's probably my least one that I'm interested in, if that makes sense. And the next book I have, I've also had for quite a while, and this is one of my favorite YA authors. Just ignore this sticker right here. This is Places We've Never Been by Casey West. I love Casey West books. I don't know why I haven't read all of her books yet, because she is an author I've just always really loved. My favorite by her is The Fill-In Boyfriend, and I also really love Sunkissed by her. That's another really good summer romance recommendation. They're all YA books. She is getting into more adult romance books now. I think she's coming out with a new one soon, but I want to read all of her YA books. I want to own all of them. But this one is about a girl named Nora, and she has a summer road trip. She basically just graduated high school. It's time for her to go to college. She reconnects with her childhood best friend, and his name is Skylar. So they try to reconnect, but things are tense between them. So I'm not sure what happened between them. But with that, they end up stuck together on this RV along with both of their moms and siblings. So it gets a little chaotic, but with this long summer road trip comes discovering what happened between them, kind of them regaining new feelings for each other. Also, the main character Nora is wanting to go to school for video game animation, which I think is really, really cool because I love video games. And this one I really tried to get to last month but didn't have the chance to, and that is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I feel like with the cover, it's the ultimate summer book. I am a little scared because I've heard mixed things about this book. A lot of people don't like it as much as her other books. This one is about Samantha, which is funny because my name is also Samantha, so it's gonna be weird to say my name over and over. But this one is about Samantha and Xavier, and they meet, and basically there's like immediate sparks. So the way they meet is, I believe she takes her pet to this vet clinic, and he owns this vet clinic, and basically he just asks her out on a date. But when she gets asked out on this date, there's sparks that fly between them, but Sam admits to Xavier that she is leaving in a few days to take care of her mother, and I believe she has early onset dementia. She begs him to forget about her because, you know, it just can't work out because she's not gonna stay. It kind of sounds like it'll be a very hard but realistic romance. But I do have a reversible dust jacket. Let me show you guys what it looks like. So here it is. It looks so cute. I actually haven't seen this yet. And this one I'm kind of iffy about, honestly. This book is Summer in the City by Alex Astor. She is the author of the Lightlark series, which I liked, but there were some things that I didn't like about it, and I think that's why I'm a little like iffy about this one. I have the Target edition, and she knows how to design like special edition books. Like, she knows what she's doing. But this one is about a girl named Elle, and she is a screenwriter with writer's block. So she decides to go to the place she vowed she would never go to get inspiration for her romance novel. And then she stays at this apartment temporarily, and then she discovers that her neighbor is someone she hooked up with 2 years ago, and she like still hates him for some reason, not sure why. But with that like inspired her to write. So then she eventually discovers that he needs a fake relationship while his companies merge. So they kind of help each other out with that, and there's fake dating. Maybe we'll discover why she hates him and does he hate her. Like, why do they decide to fake date if they hate each other? You know what I mean? So I wonder if this will be good. And it's a very short read. Like, it looks really short, but we'll see what happens. I wonder if her writing's gonna be any different in this book versus her Lightlark series. We'll see. And the next book I've talked about so much, but I'm really excited to get to it. This is a romantasy book, and this is Voice of the Ocean by Kelsey and Petchy. This is exactly what it looks like. It is a book about a siren, and it kind of gives this Little Mermaid vibe, and because it takes place like in an ocean, I just feel like that makes the most sense to read it during the summer. Our main character is named Celeste, and she is the daughter of the Siren Queen, and she has been controlled like for the majority of her life because she's basically a princess. So she wants to prove her worth, and she decides to gain control of her temperamental song, which is a type of power in this world. But then at some point she encounters a ship, and then she saves the human boy that's on board. And she ends up finding out that not only is he a prince, but he is the son of the king that has killed many of her kind. And after the queen discovers what Celeste has done, usually the penalty would be death, but they change it up and say, well, you can be cleared of all this wrongdoing if you kill the prince. So obviously that sounds so interesting. It sounds so high stakes, and this is Kelsey's debut novel. So I am really excited to see if this will be good. And the cover really is what caught my attention, but it really just gives the Little Mermaid Disney kind of vibes with like more intense, like high stakes, you know? And the next book I have, I'm also so surprised that I haven't read this yet. This is Happy Place by Emily Henry, the one and only, the one everyone knows about. So this book follows Harriet and Wen, and basically they're both a part of this big friend group, and they have this tradition where they go to a lake house in Maine, I believe. And as far as the friend group knows, Harriet and Wen are engaged. But it turns out they've been broken up for a little bit. And instead of wanting to tell everybody that they have broken up, they decide to pretend that they're still engaged, which I don't know why they would do that. So I'm interested to figure out why they didn't just tell their friends that they're broken up, why they want to fake still being engaged, because they'd have to tell their friends eventually. So I don't know. And with that, I do also want to say I don't have the physical book with me because my sister is reading it, but another book I really want to get to is Beach Read by Emily Henry, because it's called Beach Read. I really want to read it during the summer, and originally I had no idea what this book was about. And you know, after kind of like summarizing the plot, this is about two authors that are in a rut. They are both dealing with writer's block, and they decide to switch genres for the summer. And she's kind of lost faith in love, which is interesting because she is a romance author. So with that, I feel like it doesn't sound that interesting to me when I put it like that, but because everyone loves beach reads so much, that's why I'm like, okay, I'm down to give it a shot. And another book that I am hoping to read this summer is a thriller. And I do think that reading thrillers during the summer is also kind of a fun vibe. But this one is called The Night She Disappeared by Lisa Jewell. One summer night, two 19-year-olds disappear after going to this huge party on this big fancy estate. And then a year later, the case runs cold. They can't figure out what happened. So then a writer moves into a cottage that is really close to this estate where this case took place, and basically she just is taking a walk, and then she stumbles upon this note that says "dig here" in the ground, and I'm like, that's crazy. So with that, I feel like that's all you need to know. I've never read a Lisa Jewell book before. I do own None of This Is True. It's actually right here. I haven't read any of her books yet, but this just sounded so good. And I feel like with that premise, it's like, why would I not read it? It just sounds so good. and I really love thrillers, and I'm really hoping to find another 5-star one soon. It's been a while. And another book that I do have physically, but it is currently wrapped somewhere. Another book that I really want to get to is Hopeless by Elsie Silver. I read Flawless. I liked it, but it definitely wasn't the best, so I'm hoping that Heartless will be really, really good. I don't know too much about what this book is about, but I believe it's another age gap romance, and it's about Willa, which was the main character's best friend in the first book, Flawless, and about Rhett's brother. I don't remember his name, but I've just heard that this book gives really good summer vibes, so that's kind of why I wanted to add it to this list, because I really like Elsie Silver's writing, but the first book, like I said, wasn't my favorite, so I'm just really hoping to eventually get through that series and figure out which book I like the best. Oh man, and another book that I don't know guys. I don't know why I don't want to read it. Like, I don't want to read this for some reason, so I'm adding this book to my summer TBR solely because I need to read this book. You're gonna be surprised because this is my favorite book series so far. And I don't know why I'm so nervous to read it, but that is Fearless by Lauren Roberts. At this moment in time, I have not read it. I don't know if it's going to be read in any other upcoming videos. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, I'm not sure. But I am just so scared to read this book, and I think literally it's because I don't want this series to end. I've heard people love it, and then I've heard it makes people really sad, so I'm just really nervous to read it. I don't know. But this is the third book to the Powerless trilogy, and third and final book to the Powerless trilogy, and I absolutely love the first 2 books. I gave both 5 stars. I know a lot of people don't like Reckless, but I loved it, and I thought it was just a really good time. But I know since this one is the third book, there's going to be a lot more like high stakes, probably more reveals, more politics, more sad moments. I know that this book is jam-packed with all of that stuff. I'm just so nervous to read it. I don't know why. So some of these books also I don't have physically because they are available on Kindle Unlimited, and this one that I'm adding to my summer TBR is called The Infinity Between Us by N.S. Perkins. And this book sounded so good. It kind of reminded me of Love in Other Words. So I had the synopsis written down in this little notebook, so I'm going to read this to you. So basically, 18 years of summer spent at a beach house brought Violet and Will together. They were best friends until one summer everything changed. Violet struggles to move on from the past, but vows to never contact Will again, until eventually she goes back to Maine to the beach house and finds Will again. I believe this is told in a past and present perspective. I could be wrong, but it just sounded really good, and obviously it's giving summer vibes because it's about a summer beach house, which I just love reading those because they just feel very nostalgic, very like Love in Other Words, Summer I Turn Pretty kind of vibe. And the next book also I don't have physically. This is available on Kindle Unlimited, and this is Trial of the Sun Queen. So it's almost giving ACOTAR and Fourth Wing, that's what the synopsis said, but I feel like it also gives a little bit of the selection, because this one is about 10 women, a deadly contest, and only one can win the Sun King's heart. But there is a twist to this, because the only reason she goes into this is because she wants revenge on the king. So with that, I was just like immediately like interested. And I think this is a 3-book series, I believe, but it just sounded so good. And the only reason why I added this to my summer TBR is because the cover is yellow and the sun. That's literally it. That's literally the reason why I added it. It just seemed like a summer book, so I don't know. Okay, and this one I do have a physical copy of. This is Say You Still Love Me by K.A. Tucker. I've heard really good things about this book. I've been trying to find books that not a lot of people have heard of. I don't know if a lot of people have heard of this book, but this one is for sure a past and present perspective. So these 2 characters, I believe their names are Piper and Kyle, they meet at a summer camp years ago because they are summer camp counselors, and she kind of developed this crush on him, but then later on they leave the summer camp. They have no contact for a long time, and her family is actually really, really rich. So right now she's living at this really fancy estate with her best friends, and her father actually hires a security guard for his multi-million-dollar estate firm. The security guard, lo and behold, is Kyle. Piper sees Kyle again, and old feelings start to resurface, but Kyle literally doesn't remember her. Like, or he says he doesn't remember her. And she's also like convinced that their reunion wasn't an accident. So I'm not sure if she thinks that Kyle purposely tried to get the job to see her again. I don't know. So the other two books that I really want to get to this summer, these are the last two that I will be talking about in this video. The first one is Caught Up by Liz Tomford. At this moment, I've only read to chapter 2, but it's so good so far. Kai is a single dad, and he's struggling to find a good nanny for his son because he's in baseball. Basically, it's kind of hard for him to navigate his career with having a son that needs constant care, and every nanny that he's had, he's like fired for whatever reason. And then he meets Miller, and obviously there's like this instant attraction. She ends up being his nanny for, you know, his son. There's not really a specific reason why I'm putting this on my summer TBR. I just want to read it. That's it. That's literally the only reason. And I want to get the Windy City series read. And the next one I do have a physical copy of, but it is wrapped up in my TBR cart somewhere. And that is Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. She just finished the final book of this series, which is called the Rebel Blue Ranch series. I just feel also so late to the game on this series. I feel like this would be a really good summer read because it just, you know, the cover gives spring summer vibe, but that is pretty much it. There are a couple of new releases that I am looking at, but I don't know anything about them at all. The books that I might want to grab and get to, we'll see, is It's a Love Story by Annabelle Monaghan, and especially if I like summer romance by her, I probably will pick that up because the cover is so pretty. And the other one, which I've never read this author before either, so I feel like this summer I'm really trying to get to read authors that I have never read before to kind of like dip my toes into new authors and things like that. The next one is The Love Haters by Catherine Center. I've heard The Bodyguard is really good. Have no idea what it's about, but I just feel like it gives summer. I think the cover, they're like sitting on floaties in a pool or something. It just really gives summer vibes. I don't know. That is the end of today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that maybe some of these books I talked about kind of piqued your interest, and maybe you will read some of these. If you have read any of these, let me know what you thought of them down below. Which ones do you want to see in reading vlogs, things like that. I am hoping to get to most of these, but we'll see what happens. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and thank you for coming along and watching Bookmas in July. Hopefully we can make this an annual thing. We'll see. I don't know. I might get really exhausted, but I have no idea. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye!